we are trying to make up an equivalent of one brain here so that we can answer all the questions. We all have different experiences sitting here of the toolkit. So, and most probably if you start playing, and I would really encourage it, it's at this stage, we are in the gamification stage. You have to play with it in order to realize what we can do. As I've explained yesterday, we went through a long process of testing and breaking and repairing and breaking and fighting and drinking coffee and coming to the point where we can say, okay, now IO1, IO2, IO3, IO4, everybody, we have to pool the knowledge and we need to put it into a toolkit that we can use. Right. Where are we? We have currently created one or two fully functional streams. There are a multitude. There are a multitude of pathways through this toolkit. All right. The idea is, like I said yesterday, is that it must be interactive. It must be a free space. I think one of your presenters this morning spoke about the learning space. I also believe in space. Space is very important, and this is what we try to create here. So I'm going to start by just giving a brief overview. Then Katerina will just, maybe she must start. Maybe it's good that the lady starts. She will give some direction in the thinking. All right, and then I will discuss a few aspects and go into the toolkit, and then Ludmila will say a few words, and in the end, Ivo will pronounce, hopefully not the death sentence, but just give us a sort of an overview of his experience, incorporating it. There is no recipe here. All right, we did not want a recipe, and I will show you how it operates to prevent it from becoming a recipe. And I'm glad we have followed that, because all the presenters this morning all spoke about the importance of having a learning space. You have to be able to make a mistake, and you must be able to repair your mistake. All right, so Katerina will start, and then I will just briefly just recap on the process, and then we'll go on to the toolkit. We'll put it here on the screen. You are welcome, if you have your internet, you are welcome to share it. We will put the, maybe, is it possible to put the, there is the URL. You can go there, all right? And we can all have a nice game, nice day in the toolkit, playing around with it. All right. We are in the process of building it. All right. Yesterday we had our last meeting to set up the last information that needs to go in. So yeah, let us start, and then we can all sort of build an opinion around it. Okay. Are you ready? Okay.
So, hello, my name is Katerina, and I just wanted to show you that if you do not have a link, you can always go to the website of the TID, and now there is inserted a link of the e-toolkit. So it will redirect you to the Mendel website where the toolkit is placed and will be handled. And as you know, the toolkit is a guidance. It's not something that it will tell you directly you need to click here and it will come to redirect you to the different directions. It's just a bunch of ideas, a bunch of maps that will help you to go and prepare you for the international mobility. And as the toolkit is based on multiple ideas, every person can perceive the toolkit differently. So we are perceiving it probably from the point of view of the learners, of the professors, of academics, But I will try to give you an idea maybe how a student will perceive this toolkit, because it's not only about professors and academicians, but also about the students. Maybe they are, let's say, a bit more important because it's very first time they are going abroad, so they really don't know what to expect. So I will give you an example how I think, or when I would be a student, how I would probably be using the toolkit. So this would be just a different approach of the whole work that the whole project of the 2 years was doing. So as a student, I would probably I will look at the website and say, okay, so what is the toolkit? I can see if I will find out an online interactive platform with different materials, and then I can see links that will guide me through. If I click on before, I will find out a way of thinking what I will be expecting before going to the mobility. Like, so it will help me plan the mobility before actually I will go there. And during in the links and in the part of during and after, you will have different paragraphs, different outputs of what what the student can use when he is actually at the mobility. Did this approach, has these thinking before going to mobility has reached the outcome, has reached my ideas, why I'm abroad, and etc. And as a student, it will also help you prepare for competencies as communication, learning strategies, ethics, and digital part. So, for example, me, as a 22 years old student, going first time to Italy, what should I expect? I'm from Czech Republic, so probably this toolkit will help me to find out the communication, how to behave when I'm in a different country, what the cultural background of the country is, how to use the language, how to use the body sign language, what to, based on the ethics, morality, what is expected to be moral, like how the perceiving in different country, different culture will be. So this is just an example of what could be helpful for the students.
All right. Thank you, Katerina. With your permission, I'm going to sit. All right, those of you who went onto if you use the click on the VTID website, then it takes you to menu, and on the menu you go to Toolkit. You must click on Toolkit. It's very important. That will take you to the toolkit. Otherwise, you are just going to see this page, and on the page it says Start Toolkit. All right. You must. There's on the left, the furthest one to the left. There is an icon that says Toolkit. Just go there. All right. So maybe I must just give me 5 minutes, or 2 minutes, just to tell you. What is it that you can expect if you go into the toolkit? As I've explained yesterday, this was the approach that we used. All right. The idea is to offer multiple pathways, multiple possibilities, multiple pathways to develop. All right, this is the first very important thing. It's a developmental approach that we followed here. We did not follow an instructive approach. We did not follow any approach that limits. Well, we are limited because you are working with a limited space. But we are trying to, within this space, to create as many opportunities and possibilities as possible. All right, this is when you go to the first page, you will find this structure, all right? This structure will meet you where you will see communication, learning strategies, ethics, and digital skills. Those are the four main areas that we have identified in IO1 and IO2 in terms of the main learning, not learning areas, but the skills and competence areas based on literature, research, based on interviews that we had with staff and students. These four areas were identified. All right. So that's the first confrontation that you have going into. Now, this has two benefits. The first one is it gives you the option to go into this cold. You can go cold into this toolkit. That means you can decide, okay, I want to find out what are the possible communication challenges I can expect if I go on a mobility without having any particular idea or any particular objective. I just want to learn about it. Or you can, the same with the learning strategies. So if you are just interested in learning, you can use it. On the other hand, if you go down a little bit further to the next one, which is the mind map. Now the mind map gives you the other pathway of getting to communication, learning strategies, ethics, and that is via the skills and competences. Normally, we have formulated them in terms of potential challenges. What are the questions that a typical student or staff member who tries to access the the toolkit, what are the typical questions that they will be confronted with? So we tried that as there are 43 of them. And the idea here is to create two things. The first one is to create some kind of a frame of reference for the person going into the toolkit. So it's not a strange environment. You don't have to fall over yourself before realizing what you are trying to find. All right? On the other hand, we are not giving answers. We are suggesting solutions and pathways. This is very important. You cannot sit, there's no way, and I mean, I've discussed this with Alki and Michaelis many times, and with Stamatis about using apps. That is phase number next, because that is what we think can be possibly a very nice solution, to use critical apps. I will show you a bit later in the toolkit. All right. So the idea is number two. Number three is to evaluate and select relevant and applicable information. Now here we go into the normal old decision-making process. Step one, step two, identification of the problem and collecting of information. So you will see this, the normal strategy that we follow in the structuring of the website of the toolkit is the normal decision-making process. All right, it's not strange, but we tried to expand on the options available when you go into this. So the third option is evaluate and select relevant. Now there we still have a week or two to add all the information. There's already a lot of information in it. But we hope to by the end, when the project is over 2 weeks from now, we hope to populate it to such an extent that if you don't find immediately what you want, at least you are 1 or 2 clicks away from what you want. So, but what you will get will be information. You still have to process the information yourself. It's exactly the comment that Stamatis made this morning about those blocks. You can still get lost with a toolkit. That's important to remember. You still need to be able to analyze your information, to be able to interpret it, and to be able to make a decision. We are not removing that away from the individual, but we are trying to put the individual in a comfortable space, in a space where they can really engage with whatever. Then building action maps, that is a line that is, again, it's a vision. It's not very far, but we are working on this. The first steps of structuring this toolkit already took into consideration the creation of action maps, journey maps, and eventually get to the point where experience can become a reality, or good experience can become a reality. All right. This is just the mental map that we followed, trying to give depth and width, exactly what Samati said this morning about the low floor, the high ceiling, and the wide. Exactly the same approach we tried to implement here. Of course, if you start playing with it, you might find that the ceiling is not high enough, or the walls are not wide enough, or the floor is not deep enough. Of course, the space is there to be able to improve. All right. So this was the one that we rejected because it was too linear in our thinking. And today I'm glad we rejected it, because exactly after what Samati said, it made sense to reject this approach. This is the journey map. It comes out of the marketing sciences, but it makes a lot of sense because it is typically leading the, well, I'm still struggling whether it's a client or a student, yeah, but it can be any, it could be a teacher as well, the user. All right, guiding the user through the process of getting to where the eventual information is retained, and that is being used for implementation. All right, this is the journey map. These things are not good. Okay, so here is the basic thinking. You start at number 1. Actually, number 4. Number 4 is what? Number 4 is the problem. All right. We said yesterday that the problem, awareness of a problem, is the beginning of the learning process. So that is where we are viewing this toolkit as a learning process, and it starts naturally with the awareness of a problem. What is the problem? Is your own needs. All right. That's where you want to start. All right, the next one is then to look at available information and as identified and structured in all the different components. And then there are additional decision-making support apps. I will show you as we go through the toolkit now. And this is basically the, what shall we call it? It is a flat structure of the interactive process inside the toolkit. All right. There's a specific process that you can walk with, you can structure, you can come back and change your position and go back and continue and get all. We are currently populating all the linkages. So what we are going to do now is there's 1 or 2 pathways that are already very well populated, that we will now use, and we will follow them, and we will play around with all the different type of options, and then you will see what happens, and then of course it will be nice to get opinions. Okay, I've got my duck suit on, so all right. So let us now eat the pudding. They say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So where are we now? Where's the toolkit? Is it over here? Ah, okay. How can I use that one? All right, if you go to, does this thing have a mouse? Oh. I just go, here it is. No, it's fine. I found the arrow. All right, this is the front page. All right, so whether you come from the VTR IDEA Pro website, or from the Mendeloo website, and depending on whatever linkages are created into the future, this is the part where you will stumble upon the website, the toolkit. All right, I'm using the word stumble, but it's not really. I mean, there are enough linkages to take you there. All right, now I said there are two approaches you can follow. The one is the cold approach, where you just go in and you look and you learn. To do that, you go to either communication or learning strategies or ethics or digital. All right, you can go to any one of those. If we go to communication, it will take you down. If you go down, you will find there are links and there are little discussions, pieces of information, videos, etc. And so you can play. We are busy populating all these different. You can go and find a simple little video that you can look through. Well, you can look at it and then you can go back. All right. If you don't like this, you can go back, and then you can go to another aspect. Like one of the aspects of communication is how do you react? So on replying. So what does that mean? It means you go down, and there are many different resources here. It really depends on what you are looking for and what you are expecting. What type of answer are you expecting? All right. So I'm going to go through it rather quickly because it is quite a piece of work. Then we're looking at intercultural communication. There's a little introduction. Then you can go to intercultural communication website. Inside that website, there are a multitude of references. All right, it's impossible for us to populate the VTID toolkit with all these references. It makes more sense to give the user access into those existing resources, and then from there, because there's undoubtedly one of two things will happen. Either the user will immediately find the answers they want, or they will immediately be triggered by questions that will actually take them closer to what they really want. So we have this refining process that we have also included in the structure. And so you can, and this is okay. Then we get to ID inventory, intercultural development inventory, all these different aspects. Yes.
Sorry, Paul. Before we go further, just to clear it, because I'm starting not to follow this. This huge animal that you are describing, is this what the Winter ID offer is all about? Is this the project, or is this a combination of our Winter ID with something else?
No. This is the combination of IO1, IO2, IO3, and IO4. And this is the project, this is the deliverable in the end. The toolkit, the structure that needs to be, what do we call it? That needs to be resident after the project. This is what is going to remain. It's not a bunch of files.
No.
This is the structure. This is it. If I go through it, it looks very big, but the reason why it looks so big is because it is big in the first place, but in the second place, it is structured to deal with all the questions as mentioned in the project.
Okay, but it doesn't include any other outputs apart from the project itself.
No,
And it was created as a result of with their ID.
yes.
Okay. Okay, fine, thank you.
I must just say one thing. It's a pity, Stomakis is here. IO2, sorry, IO4 is a digital,
Yes,
yes,
I know the vision.
yes, that is supposed to be, and it is not only supposed to be, is actually
It is.
a separate toolkit.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have decided when did we have our last meeting in Creta? We said it will make a lot of sense if we just link the two.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we did. And we did it by creating one link. That's all. And I will show you, sorry, I have to jump around between my glasses. We did that by just inserting that link there. If you click on that link,
Yeah, I know the digital.
Yes.
It's completed. I know that.
yes, because we know that in ISO or on its own,
Yes.
it is a super
Yes.
toolkit.
No.
But we also saw that if we can put that link here,
Okay.
we can add value
Yeah.
to this toolkit.
Okay. But this tool, not the digital, this tool that you're talking about, it is as a result of the output 2.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
1,
Yes.
2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You answered my question.
Yeah. All right. So, communication, if you go to learning strategies, you will find exactly the same pathways. Remember, this is the option that we give the user to go in cold. Okay, rule number 1, you should actually do this with a mouse. All right, so we must sell a mouse with the toolkit.
The same need.
I'm very
Can bring this on.
okay, thank you, Zdráhal, saved my life. I'm useless without a mouse. Excellent. Yeah, oh man. What will I do? Huh?
Civilization.
Civilization has arrived. All right. If you now go to this aspect of the toolkit, let's pretend I'm just a student. I'm just curious. All right. I'm just curious, nothing more. I'm not planning on the mobility. I don't even know what the mobility is. I'm just curious. All right. Then I can go through this and see, learning strategies. Okay, what is that? What is this? So, sorry, it's the other way around. What is this? Okay, the habit of continuous learning. Lifelong learning. Okay. So now I read and I enjoy and I go back. Now I'm now triggered. All right, so I go to the next one, the 10 benefits of continuous education. Okay, let's see. And we go around and we start playing, and there are some interesting links here. So what we are doing here is we are integrating the resources offered by the wider net. We are bringing that into our toolkit in a structured way, because we are following a very specific mode of thinking. All right, so then we can go back, and then we can, the same with ethics, the same with that. But, and this is the part that I'm rather proud of. There was a question here earlier about the Bologna process. And a very important component of the Bologna process is the Bloom's taxonomy. So, okay, sorry, it's this quick access links.
Yes.
Yes, we actually take the student into Bloom's taxonomy. All right, because it is from a pedagogically way. One day I will learn how to pronounce that. Yeah.
That's Greek.
Is that Greek?
Yes.
All right. We take the student there because in all their courses, they are supposed to be exposed to these aspects. All right. But now we've gone a little bit further because we just thought it would be sensible. There are very good resources on the internet. We said, okay, now the student comes here and says creating. What does creating mean? Right? So click there and go. Aha. You get into this myriad of apps that all support these different, there's one okay, you can go in, some of them you have to sign in, you have to register. None of them that I'm aware of are actually pay sites. I know that you have to register to go in, but I have tried not to put up their pay sites. But it is possible that we could have slipped. But the point is here to give the student just a little bit of experience, even lecturers who need to get behind this whole idea of Bloom's taxonomy. What does it mean? There is still a page here that needs to come in, a written page that I've already written that we still need to put in there, just to give some background about what is Bloom's taxonomy, what is the adjusted Bloom's taxonomy, because the old one has been refined, and so we can continue. All right. So then we have here a space that, well, it's a space that we have discussed yesterday, where we will have 25 questions, 25 basic questions that is, give you an example. What is the mobility? What do I need to fill in to get the mobility? What must I do? Where do I get money for a mobility? How do I decide where to go to? Basic questions for the student who wants to go on a mobility, who then we can give him the answers, and from there immediately guide the student into the toolkit, all right? And then from there go further. Okay, so this is for the basic entry level, the guy who's just, or the lady who's just curious, just to try and see. There's space to play around. And it's not done, it's not finished yet, because we are busy trying to bring in the final populated linkages, of which I still have quite a substantial amount that I need to provide Stamatis in them early in this week that's coming. So that is that one aspect of the toolkit. Then we go into the second aspect of the toolkit. The second aspect is for this person who is now going on a mobility. All right? Yeah. Or is on a mobility. This person is either on a mobility or before going on a mobility or after a mobility. And this is beautiful. If this person is now planning to go somewhere, all right? Click on before. Then it says there, preparation for success before the mobility. This whole section of the toolkit puts this user in a frame of mind of all the important things that are necessary around preparation. Look, it doesn't take care of the Erasmus Plus documentation and all that. It's not part of the toolkit. We did not bring that into this. This is just, yeah, the psychological, the mental, the personal preparation, all right? Getting this horse ready for the race. And in this, and this is where we implemented the different questions, all right? And these questions are literally, not questions, skills and competences from our research. What you see here, this is the result of our research. IO 1, 2, and 3, all that work that Atina and her team did, and what we did, and Stamatis did, everybody all that is incorporated into these sections. So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different access areas, all right, that the student can take. Okay, so let's take this one. For example, all right, overcoming the language barrier. So what will happen here, I will now take you to a functional example. This is just just to give you an idea. We give a little discussion. What does it mean? What does this language barrier thing mean? Okay, so we give a brief little discussion there. Then we will provide 3 links. 3 links to get this person into the sea, into the dam, into the water. And then those 3 links, hopefully, will set this person on a track that they will start playing around and accessing and become motivated. This is part of the learning experience. Become motivated to prepare themselves. All right. So that is a functional example. Then let's go to learning. Sorry, let's go to the learning strategies. That was the one that we have developed specifically to see. This is our prototype of the beta version of the prototype. All right. This is to see how does this mechanism, is the mechanism functional, will it work? And we are very, very happy. Here we have this learning strategies is one of those 4 or 5 areas. All right. Now, this is now, sorry, I want to go back to the toolkit. And I want to go to, sorry, I just need to, I'm a student, remember? During the toolkit, okay? Here we have all the different kinds, but now let's go to learning strategies. This is for the communication. In the learning strategies component, all right, there are all these different references, all right? What does it mean? What are all the learning strategies that can be followed? I immediately see now there's one link. I hope you didn't see it. There's okay, then we show the students the different aspects of teamwork, for instance. Consent, let me just go back. All right, this part of learning strategies has to do, a learning strategy is an individual's way of organizing. We now prepare the student to engage with all the different strategies that are possible. Nada, please warn me on my time. Please.
Okay, we have 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Okay, that's fine. I also want to give
Keep
Ivo.
some for questions.
Sorry?
Keep some for questions.
So I have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry?
The 3 of you have 5 minutes.
No, they have 5 minutes and I have 5 minutes. Yes, I get your drift. Don't worry. But it's what I said in the beginning. Everyone should actually go and sit and play. The process now is, this is where we've gone through everything. Ethics has been prepared. There are also a number of links that you can take. There are a few camping sites that you can go into and go and play. And in the end, we would like you to give comments, please. Comments are going to be very important for us on this on the further development, because this is what we have. I just want to see we have also developed, it's not here. We have also developed a little evaluation questionnaire. All right. Is it? Where is it? Toolkit. Ah, here it is. Yes. Acceptability of the materials. All right. So this is a comment. This is a comment that will be part of the education for the student, how to use this. We will ask all students or all staff members who use this toolkit to please evaluate it for us. Give us an idea what is good and what is not good. All right. So I want to stop here. I want to give Ludmila and Ivo also the opportunity to just from their side. Oh, did I kill it now? Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Okay. All right. So this is the structure. This is the basis of it. By the end of next week, we will be far beyond where we are now because of the continuous growth of this thing. It should be done by the end of next week, but we know that it is a living animal. We will get comments, and there will be questions, and there will be changes. All right. We will sometime before the submission of the project, the end, we will stop all suggestions. So please, I would encourage you, go home, go and play with what you see. Give us a set of comments, and you can either send it to NADA or you can send it to us, depending on who you. No, it's true. It's true. We have a question here. Somebody exploring the Harvard blog, but it did not work. That's possible. This is the beta of a beta of a first version, and we have added all these links. And these links, we are busy doing two things at the moment. We are busy growing this. We have the final structure, but you unfortunately need somebody who understands what's happening inside this thin brain. This is a lesson that we learned, a very important lesson. The toolkit is a wonderful thing, but you always come back to reality. You either want bread on your butter on your bread and jam, or you want dry bread. All right. There's always a link. You have to have somebody who can physically operate this machine. So the pedagogics is the one side. To use technology, you need people who know what's going on inside. And these do not necessarily have to be the same people. So there's an aspect of teamwork that goes on behind this instrument, which is a very important lesson that we learn. So yes, my answer to that question, is it accessible to anyone? No, not yet. At this stage, it will not be accessible, because some of these links need to be activated. So yes. All right.
And so we will have a question. It's accessible for.
No, it's that's the one I answered. It's not accessible because it's not activated yet.
But it will be.
It will be. Yeah. And if we can't activate it, we remove it, and we put another resource in there. We can. We also use the blocks.
Yes.
We can take a block out and just put another block in. It's really, you do not have to be a rocket scientist to be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah. I would like to highlight 2 points. Why is it important to have such an instrument? And then I would like to highlight that there is much more option how to use it than just the version we got at the moment. What we created is system of systems, which means it's a platform that we can now quite easily transform. And the way how it looks now, it's possible that we will transform it, the content, we will transform to something else in the future, because our world is changing and we need to react. Also, the way how it's structured now, it's based on the research, but it very much it should solve to the mobilities we know as the Erasmus, for example, something that is quite structured. On the other hand, at my faculty in the last 15 years, we started mobility programs like academics as the mentors going abroad with a group of students, which is a completely different situation. It's not structured. Going Vienna to take the aeroplane, and then in few hours you are on the other side of the world. And yeah, then you got these 5 students and they are totally in chaos because they are in different economic, social, culture, whatever environment. For some of them, it's a first journey abroad. And you as a mentor, you have to manage that process. So maybe you know that very ugly joke was the difference between the tourists and racist. 2 weeks. If you do your job badly, there will be much more negative outcomes than the positive ones. So it's very important to pay attention to the skills, not only of the student, but also for example of the academics that are these kind of mentors. And so for me, if I would have in the past such a tool, it will help me a lot to manage the process properly. That we will see only positive outcomes. When such a student is abroad, there are 2 problematic aspects. Or I will start the other way around. Yesterday I already mentioned that on these mobility students are, some of them are like entrepreneurs. You can put him somewhere in the middle of Africa and that's not a problem for him. He knows what opportunities to find and how to use it, how to capitalize. They will just come to you to get some money and then next day they are running around, they are totally happy. And then they will gain a lot from that mobility. But from majority of the students, the mobility can be tough exercise. They don't see opportunities, or some of them can see the opportunity, they don't know how to use it, or for them as a benefit to the way how to grow. And yeah, so then the mentor can facilitate that process. But the problematic aspects are some of the students then they don't know what questions to ask. You mentioned there are some answers, but what is also important, it's a certain structured map that points what questions should I ask if I go abroad. And if I know what question to ask, then I will easily find somebody to ask. The second problem is if we want to achieve any progress at the student side, real progress, the student has to go out from the comfort zone, which is not easy. That's already becoming personal. But yeah, to come from the comfort zone means you are really achieving something, new horizons. And really, if we were able in the past to achieve something like that with the students, then there is a huge progress immediately. But it's a tough exercise, and again, something like this can help the student to orient and again to ask the right question and so on. So this is another angle how to look at these mobilities, not as a structured exercise like the Erasmus is for me, and also what I want to say. What is important is that we can, if we have this tool as like a bottom ground, some point where we can start to actually develop it, where we can actually start to develop it for the future.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ivo. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's a deadly silence here. Shall I say dead silence? Which one is it?
We're just digesting everything
That's good. I'm ending off with this. I would encourage you, please, go through this, play with it, tear it apart, but please give us your feedback. That is what we need.
Maybe I'm repeating myself. Yesterday, when you get your speech, I was impressed by the thinking behind it. And now I'm curious, or whether you already, or maybe one of you already has an idea. Okay, I'm going to meet those students that are that maybe deciding on whether to go in mobility or not. How do you want them to use it? Are you taking on specific guidelines? Can I incorporate it in a course? Can I give them an assignment, or is there a kind of reflection tool that I can use? How do you envisage how it will be used?
Very important question. Thank you very much. It's actually a suggestion that we wanted to make. It's not written into the project.
No.
So I don't know, do we call it added value, or do we call it, what do we call it? But there needs to be at least a morning session. This means that, and I think we can start with it. We can say 5 or 6 students before they go on a mobility, let us bring them in and take them for a morning and help them, guide them through this and give them an assignment. So in that one morning, they can get access to this. I think it would be at this stage a little bit irresponsible to just leave the students and say, go there and go and buy it yourself. But there needs to be a little, even if it's only for a morning, there needs to be an introductory program. There needs to be a training session in order to gain the value.
That's one aspect. People are simple creatures. If something is useful, they will use it. If something is not useful, they will not use it. So also based on the feedback, we have to still improve the toolkit, reflects the needs, the changes needs, and if it's useful, they will use it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. When you look at technological innovation in the past, for instance, it started with the laptop. I was a student myself when the first computers arrived at my department where I was a student assistant. Nobody of the secretariat wants to use it. Nobody of the except one of the professors wanted to use it. So we as students were fortunate that we were able to use it. So I was one of the first to write my master's thesis on a personal computer. But the moment that you more or less forced people to get a connection or an experience with it, then it changed immediately. And I think that this, I would like, I don't know whether it's possible in 2 weeks, but where you have a button, guidelines for using it, or something like that, and maybe it's only 1 page or a 2 page.
It's on the front page.
There's a video about it.
It's there.
How to use it also for teachers.
Ah, no,
That's why I meant. And if you add, it can be a document of only 1 page with a few suggestions.
yeah, okay.
Before mobility, that people write a reflection report on a few questions that they so that they have to use and have to explore.
It's a good point. It's a good point. We'll bring it in. Yeah, thank you.
Well, maybe I will add something to it, because now it's probably also the task of the International Relations Office at the universities to forward this toolkit and maybe implement it in the in another, like Erasmus has structured administration, so they will get a link for the toolkit, which will be obligatory to use it and maybe to write a report afterwards. So that we will gain more feedback, and this could be
or that they forward an assignment where the toolkit is used to use, that you can publish it on the website and also.
For the future, it would be nice to have it as a management to make the mobilities better and the experience from it better, but also I don't know what the experience at your university, but there is a lot of mobility, but this few information is coming from the academics or students back to the system.
Fortunately, the way the toolkit is written, we can incorporate that very easily. It's not, it will not be, but it's a very important point. We'll make sure it's there.
it's already discussed, like, and to be afraid that student may not be willing to go lot of information here, lots, like a bunch of information here, we are YouTube video link. So you all already mentioned that it would be great maybe one day in the morning, all the students come in the hall, would like to go and briefly like to explain to us. This is the important things. If you like to go there, you can just quickly, like a guided approach, so like I said.
Yeah.
Very similar that would be okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's really confusing and maybe students don't like to go, you know, and they will ask the person who is in contact with mobility, how should I do without going there? So
It's true.
this is additional thing that of course they can help and get more information.
Thank you.
Maybe also some kind of link with shortcuts. So that, for example, if you are on learning strategies and you find yourself going 2-3 slides down, but then you want to go back, so that you don't have to go back all the time to the very beginning, but somewhere on the side have shortcuts and a grid
Yes.
that can maybe take you directly to the other part that you're interested in.
Thank you. That's a good suggestion. That is exactly what we are looking for. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.